play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. It's the final, I guess you would call it the home finale, the season finale at home here for the Tennessee Titans. They get to go up against the Saints, which everybody kind of would have thought would have been a walk in the park earlier in the year, but things have changed for both teams, sort of. But the Titans are trending in the right direction. The Saints are trending in the right direction. The Saints defensively are playing some of the best football over this second half of the season. Lot to get to today. But should we start off with some Malik Willis talk?
I'm not opposed. That was fun last night.
Let me say this.
He plays for the
Packers. But I'll tie it to the Titans.
I know. I got you. Well, of course he's tied
well,
to the
yeah, but I also special shout out to Derrick Henry for getting me 50 points in most of my fantasy football championships.
Oh, you had him on your team.
Imagine
playing him. Blaine, you don't play fantasy football, do you?
No, not this year.
Yeah.
Last week I had Stafford and Puka. This week I had Derrick Henry go off.
Okay.
And the Vikings defense, Brian Flores.
So you
Vikings
bribed him to let you have that guy?
Yeah.
Well, no, see, what he did is he baited us with Malik Willis talk, and then he started talking about his fantasy football accomplishments.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
But to get to Malik Willis.
Somebody got to win something.
But you guys had some good conversations last week on the pregame show about coaching and the coaching staff, the coaching hire, the coaching future. And I thought Malik Willis was a good example of what good coaching can do for specific players. And listen, also his hard work, right? His work ethic was never in question here in Tennessee. But what this does show you is that with someone like, Matt LaFleur up there in Green Bay, what they can do with certain quarterbacks. And really he tailors his game plan sometimes mid-game if Malik has to come in, but that's because he has multiple options, multiple situations that he can pull from. And I just wanted to highlight that because the Tennessee Titans are about to embark on their head coaching search and their head coaching hire, what the right head coaching hire could do for Cam Ward. And I thought Malik Willis was a good example of that.
Blaine, did you get to know him at all while he was here?
Yes, I thought he continued to get better every year. You saw that, and then he was really strong in his faith, so I really had a lot of respect for him, not just for that. That shows you he was mentally tough, and he was going to be disciplined because he was going to put the work in, and if it didn't work out, so be it. But he was going to do everything that he could with his coaching off the field with his private coach he get out there before practice. I mean, Buck, you're out there every day and getting warmed up, and you saw his progression getting better each and every year. And when they let him go, I thought they would trade him because his value got to the point, especially, by the way, it was against the Saints, I recall now, him throwing that touchdown, I think,
he killed it.
Oliver, I think.
Yeah.
It was somebody, I think it was.
No, he had a great game. I think he had 2 touchdown passes.
That's when
he had
you
a really
start
nice
seeing
day.
how comfortable he was in the pocket. And then eventually you said he has the tools to at least now for me to be a backup quarterback in the National Football. There was questions if he could even be a third one when they first got him and then saw him play. Remember the Kansas City game where he only threw like 8 or 10 times in the game? It was kind of insane. Like they didn't even trust him to throw.
Oh no, the Houston game he attempted one pass in an entire half of football. They just Derrick Henry had a 200-yard game.
I knew you would know. So just to see how he's progressed, and then everything is about what you said, Zach. It's about the individual coaching and where he's at in his career, where his confidence level is in, even if they've made a mistake. And so and he's not, fearless or fearful of making a mistake and then getting yanked out there. So every time he's gotten on the field, I keep seeing him getting better and better, and maybe to the point where somebody may take a risk, or he'll be a highly paid, backup. I don't know if anybody ever take a risk on him being a starter, but he's shown with Love every time he's gotten out there that they don't miss a beat. Now they may run some different plays for him because he does have a running element to him, but the crux of their whole offense is still drop back, and then you want to take off running. And then against the Titans a couple years ago, they actually used him as a runner.
He killed him.
Well, I was about to say, he almost adds an extra element because their whole game is run game, play action, passing. Well, when the quarterback can run and is athletic as Malik Willis is, then that's an extra element to that team.
Well, and I loved watching
tell us about him, Buck. I mean, you covered him, and you was
No, I have tremendous respect for him,
no
just
doubt,
for all the same reasons that you listed, and because it was tough here. Because I saw him him go through how difficult it was, and sometimes struggle a little bit with the questions about his own performance and kind of put the work in that week at practice. And to your point, Blaine, he did get better every year that he was here. Now, when he first got out there, it was obviously a very, very raw situation. The offensive line was significantly worse at the time. I mean, my God, Ryan Tannehill was getting high ankle sprains. It felt like every other week behind that offensive line. So Malik Willis gets dropped in. That first game, what was that, the Bills game, that Monday Night Football blowout that they had? And that was kind of, baptism by fire for a guy that was clearly going to take some time, but had a lot of the traits. You don't know about how the traits will translate into skill beyond, is the guy mentally equipped to be able to handle all the difficult situations that come with being an NFL player. Blaine, you could speak to this obviously better than anybody, but I'm so impressed with him. And it's also, to your point, Zach, about coaching, like, it's good to have a coach and a coaching staff who believes in your ability to do what it is that they're asking him to do back there. Because as that game got more out of hand, they obviously lost, the Packers did last night, because Derrick Henry went crazy in that game. Awesome to see that. It's been a while. I think it's only the second time that he's had 4 touchdowns in a game in his career, with the first one being that Jacksonville game, right? The 99 yards.
Oh my.
So anyway, a little bit of throwbacks all over the place between LaFleur and Malik and Derrick Henry last night. But the thing about it was, Blaine, he had to just drop back basically the entire the entire fourth quarter of that game while he was, and he had to miss a little bit of time because he was battling through a shoulder injury. He toughed it out last night and still put on a show. But he was making some really nice throws when the Ravens knew that they did not have to respect the ground game because the Packers were trailing by double digits at that point. And I thought Malik, I thought he acquitted himself well on a night where Green Bay didn't play its best team football.
And I also look at Malik Willis, what we saw him struggle with here, he does not struggle with there in Green Bay. And that, to me, was always the processing. He always had the arm talent. He always had the physical attributes. It was getting the ball out and making quick decisions. And up at Green Bay, he's been able to do that. And to be fair, he was doing that in the preseason here that third year before he got traded.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, I think that's just a better fit with Brian Callahan, but also a third year of Malik really getting his feet underneath him and working his ass off during the year, during the offseason. But also, you kind of knew under Vrabel, like with the way that Vrabel wants to run the offense and everything, is like Malik Willis just wasn't fitting it. It was square peg, round hole kind of situation. And that's where this coaching hire kind of is the most important, is to find the person that can get the most out of not just Cam Ward, but all the players, because there are 52 other players besides Cam Ward. Now, Cam Ward is the quarterback, and the quarterback is the most important position of football, but there's 52 other players that you got to be talking about and worrying about as well, not just Cam Ward.
Do you think Vrabel supported the Willis pick? See, because that then tells you the kind of support, and you feel that as a player. And so then you go out there and you feel like, if I make a mistake, then I'm going to get yanked or I'm going to get ridiculed in the meeting room. And
he was that kind of guy, obviously, as a coach.
So when you get that support by a player, then the sky's the limit. And he wasn't there in the development, but you know instantly if that coach really wanted you, how they're writing, whether you like it or not, how their coaching style is one thing, but to get that support from your head coach is a whole nother ball game.
I don't think there was nothing to indicate, Blaine, that he had any problem with the selection in the third round when they took Malik, right? Because at that point, it's just kind of a flyer on a quarterback. Right. The struggle was because that is the kind of coach that Mike Vrabel was. We saw it on a couple of different situations, whether it was David Long or Christian Fulton or Malik Willis or Chikakonkwo was somebody who I think had some difficulties with the style that particular kind of coach brought. I think it was just a guy who, at every turn, every time their roster would suffer some kind of issue, they'd plug in a stopgap type of veteran player, Buster Skrine, Deontay Foreman, Dontrell Hilliard, like these dudes that you wouldn't have to spend as much time on because they had a basic understanding of what was supposed to go on out there. I think Mike struggled with the idea of playing Malik that soon in his rookie season out of necessity. And, they tried to make it work for a period of time, and then they went with Dobbs, which ended up being, at the time, a better fit for them with the way. And Dobbs didn't win any games, but they felt that like they were closer. They felt like the quarterback play was less of a struggle. Malik was going to have a hard time here no matter what. I don't think there was anything to indicate that Mike didn't support it. I think he just struggled to adapt, frankly. And frankly, I don't think Callahan and Rand did a good job with him either. They shipped him off for a 7th-round pick. Mason Rudolph is better than that guy. Come on.
I would say that when it comes down to what happened with Vrabel is that I think he hit it on the head at the end was Buck saying that he didn't adapt. And I think what you got to see with some of these players, you can't run a Ryan Tannehill time-on-task offense with Malik Willis. Because he's a rookie, a 3rd-round rookie, and a project quarterback, which we all knew. He never ran a time-on-task or quarter offense in Liberty.
So that goes back to my question. Did he agree with the pick?
I think he agreed with the pick. I don't think he hated the pick because it's hard for me to say, really. I just don't think I think what we saw was just normal Mike Vrabel. He doesn't want to.
But there's also, it's a fair question, Blaine, because John.
Yeah, I think it's a fair question.
Well, no, it's because John and Mike had kind of fallen out at that point in time. Like they were not. There's a reason why Mike Vrabel was there and John Robinson wasn't at the end.
But all coaches they're not evaluators. Some people just believe that they know all things about football. Well, how much time are you evaluating players when you're coaching throughout the season? So then you only have a minimal amount of time to start evaluating players and get caught up to those players that's coming out. Now, you may have a jaded view on those players, and sometimes you get them right, sometimes you get them wrong. Watch this. I wonder if most people know he probably wanted Derrick Henry traded. What do you think about that, Buck? When he couldn't get it done.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
See? So you tell now who's a bona fide Hall of Fame player, but he was thinking, I think I may have to get it traded because he's not quite ready, and I want a guy who can do it now.
Blaine.
See, but that's
David Fluellen was playing ahead of Derrick in 18.
That's what I'm telling you.
So I know.
Your actions tell us how you're thinking.
Yeah.
And that players see it, and they go, well, this is not right. Yeah, see, how's the second rounder not out there before him? Because Vrabel just thought he wasn't ready quite yet. Well, hey, man, sometimes it's just running back now. Running back is a running back. You just throw him out there. You don't have to.
He did it. He did it this year in New England. Yeah. He just did it with Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson.
Yeah. So if he would have got his way, Derrick Henry wouldn't have been here. See, that's what I'm getting at.
It's one of those things.
See, that makes you go.
That does. That's a good point.
Coaches don't always know what's best. Do what you're best at, and that is coaching.
Yeah.
Because I always forget the ridiculous arguments I'd have to get in on Twitter saying that you guys don't understand Derrick Henry's actually the best running back on the team. They just don't want to give him the ball for whatever reason. Like when he had the ball.
Now, think about what you just said. Who does that?
Who does that?
No,
because you don't. At the time, he didn't think he was the best.
He didn't think he was the best one. There was something behind the scenes.
DeMarco Murray was there at first. Now,
and he struggled with the idea of DeMarco. I mean, Derrick really because some of it's on Derrick too.
Oh yeah, always.
Like Derrick, who's obviously this larger than life football player, but I mean, I think he struggled with a couple of different things along the way en route to becoming the player that he ultimately ended up being, right? Both of these things can be true at the same time because, frankly, Eddie George did a better job coaching Derrick Henry than Mike Mularkey or Mike Vrabel did.
That one conversation.
That's what I'm saying. I'm on the building. Pay attention to me, bud.
Derrick Henry looked good in 2017 and 2018 under Mike Mularkey.
Yeah.
He started dropping off or quote-unquote dropping off because the stats would tell you otherwise. And what you saw in the film, like when we're sitting there watching I can remember where I'm at, Savannah, Georgia, at a bar watching the London Chargers game, and I'm like, why are they not giving Derrick Henry the ball more? He deserves the ball more. Because at that point, Vrabel did what he tended to do, was give his buddy Dion Lewis all the majority of the carries because they thought he was a 3-down running back when he's never been a 3-down running back.
Insane. So why would a coach do that?
I don't know. Hubris, I don't know.
That's
the thing. So maybe, see, that's why I don't. That's why I struggle with
people do the real story over it, but sometimes you just fall into things and it just works out.
That's why I never understand why coaches aren't quicker to adapt to their surroundings instead of trying to force their surroundings adapt to them.
Well, you spent your entire career doing things a certain way.
Right. Yeah, it's our fault.
Yeah, but his career was just like three years. It just had started. That was his first year, going back to Vrabel. But I think what you see now is that he kind of.
I think you are way more doubled down at the start because you're coming in with a plan, and then as you spend more time and as you get fired and things like that, and then you get in a situation where you get to have it's a more advantageous situation for him now with a lot of the things that cost him in part his job here.
Right.
Beyond coming in, because I mean, he was
eventually he had to adapt and learn as he went along.
He was a 10 times bigger
product,
hard ass in 2018 than he was, losing 7 straight in 2022 or whatever it was. Like it was all just like players, just like anybody in any profession. You evolve the more time that you spend doing it, if you're lucky enough to do it for an extended period of time.
And having success.
There you go. Okay. We'll talk more about the Tennessee Titans when we come back. This is the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com, and this is 104.5 The Zone.
Let's have some burgers. God.
Right. It is the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by SA Recycling. SA Recycling reminds you to be a good fan this game day and look for recycle bins in and around Nissan Stadium. So we've been talking about, Malik Willis coaching and all that kind of stuff. And you were talking before we got on air, Blaine, about Clint Kubiak. We saw Clint Kubiak down here in Seattle, And he hasn't really gotten as much love from the media and the fans here as a potential Titans head coach candidate, but we also haven't heard his name mentioned or tied at all to the Titans. Like, you hear Chris Shula and Jesse Minter out of everybody's mouth. I don't know if that's agent-driven. Maybe Clint Kubiak needs to work on his agent to get his name out there more. But
maybe he knows he's not quite ready.
But I think that's an interesting discussion because we saw Clint Kubiak here, but maybe Titans fans are turned off because he's a quote-unquote Nepo baby, the last name, Gary Kubiak, Clint Kubiak, Callahan, and all that stuff. But the difference to me is that Clint Kubiak has called plays multiple years now for his teams as an offensive coordinator. So where are you at on Clint Kubiak? I know you like him a lot. But
I like his style of offense.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be something that's long-lasting in the league if you got the right pieces. And, that's something like Shanahan's, the play-action pass, run game. I love how they, set up the run game, play-action pass with the pass game. Now you don't have those players that they have there at Seattle, JSN, man, and then the running back there. So, you got to get those pieces. I just think foundationally you got to figure out what's your identity and then kind of go from there. I think we're seeing now what the Titans are doing running the football shows with this organization has been set for many years that play action pass and running the football and then throwing around the yard. You want to beat teams multiple ways, but if you can do that initially, that sets up everything else. I know this is kind of a passing league, but you just go and look at all the teams that are really winning. They have some form of pass game. Now, running game. That's not to say that they can't, throw it around the yard all game, but you need that. And I think he has that. I don't know anything about his leadership skills and being in that kind of position. I don't compare Callahan to any other coach if they had former coaches in the National Football League because every situation has its own identity. You can't mix the two. If you start making decisions like that, you'll fail yourself.
Yep.
So I don't look at it that way. But, he's not getting a lot of hype. I'm not in the, hiring head coach business. I really don't know because I'm not the one sitting down there having these kind of conversations. So all you can do is look at their resumes, and the resume can sometimes lead you in a different direction and in a bad direction. It's just hit or miss. It's just like hiring somebody for a job. So I just hope they get the right guy that fits with this organization where everything kind of works smoothly and everybody's kind of, whether you agree or disagree, are still going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think fit more than anything really matters. So it could be a guy we're not even thinking about that's the better fit for this organization.
No, I think that's why Titans fans are so upset about the idea of Matt Nagy's name continually being brought up for this job because he does understand the different dynamics that he's going to be working with and that he would be organizationally aligned with somebody in Mike Borgonzi, who he's known for a considerable period of time, an alignment between Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi. Obviously, Amy Adams Strunk is a factor here, the owner. Can you get her, if you are the people that you have surrounded herself or that she surrounded herself with, can you get her to kind of stick to the plan here, right? Because even this year, and by the way, she was right to fire Brian Callahan when she did. They are a better football team now around this rookie quarterback than they were at any point in those first 6 weeks. So even though she deviated from what they were preaching all offseason long, which is the buzz phrases, right? It's patience over panic.
Which technically she never said, by the way.
But the whole line is, we've been empowered to speak on her behalf. So, okay, your words at that point are her words. But, it gives you plausible deniability if you're the owner.
Hey,
because you reserve the right to say.
PK out there asking, where is she?
I mean, like Batman. One of the funniest press conferences of my life. Anyway, that's why the Matt Nagy thing makes a lot of sense. Now, again, all of these people have to interview. Brian Callahan, I'm sure, interviewed really well, he checked. You can have this idea of a coach in your head and have no idea what the hell they're going to look like when they actually get dropped into this or any specific environment, right? Ben Johnson clearly understood that he was going to have the ability to have a bit of a choice, right? He may not get his pick of jobs when he was interviewing the first time around, but whatever information he got was enough information for him to decline an interview here.
Right.
Go back to Detroit, try and win a Super Bowl with the Lions. They fell short, but then goes back into the coaching cycle the following year and is more of a commodity because people are like, why did this guy go back? What does he know? Why is, what is this? It builds up almost this mystique about who this person is and whether they'll actually be able to do the job. Turns out he can handle it right now.
Yeah.
The immediate returns are excellent. But it takes a specific kind of person, I think, to be identify, okay, no, I'm taking this job because I actually believe in what is here that will allow me to win football games versus the thing that you hear fans say all the time, which is it's 1 of 32, right? Somebody will take the job. I don't just want somebody. I want somebody who actually believes in what's going to work here and can maximize that. I don't know if Clint Kubiak's that guy. I don't know if Matt Nagy's that guy.
Right.
I just know that is the guy that is going to make this place work the way that it needs to.
Yeah, don't forget Ben Johnson also had like the Commanders up in the air flying out to him to meet him somewhere, and they turned the plane around because he wasn't taking that job either. And they end up with Dan Quinn, for better or for worse. We don't know. I mean,
Mike McCarthy does this.
Yeah.
He takes years off, and then he gets a better situation.
Yeah.
After he's been doing this a couple of times, and rare is the coach that actually gets a third job in the NFL as the head coaching guy, or in that specific role. But Mike McCarthy has been doing this for a couple of years now.
Right.
Who on paper do you guys think is your best shot to get it right?
Gosh.
To get it right. Not to say that's going to happen, but like, man, that's because you can look on paper, Callahan looked good, but then I go, but he never called plays. So when was the last time a head coach was hired that he never called plays on offense or defense?
You really have to think of, on offense or defense?
Yes.
I mean, there are examples of guys like that. I mean, for the most famous one is John Harbaugh.
I know.
Right?
I knew that one because I was there with the Eagles with him.
Right.
And then he got the job the next year. So I was just trying to think, when has that happened over history? Because you as an owner and an ownership group who's making that decision, you have to weigh those things in.
The way that they downplayed it with us, which is, I'm sure, the way that it was sold to the Titans.
Right.
When he was interviewing was, I'm on the headset. I'm an integral part of the play calling process. I'm not the guy with my finger on the trigger, for lack of a better term. I'm his eyes in the booth, right? Zach Taylor's on the sideline, Brian Callahan's
and then the first question somebody should ask is, who was the last guy that was just like this guy that got a head job?
I'm trying to think.
That should be the question.
Because a lot of people
that
will always go
hesitate.
back. Yeah, because a lot of people go back and try to say Sean McVay is like, no, he called plays.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell called plays.
Because
like, all
that
these
is an
guys
art.
have called plays.
So then once you perfect that art, then now when you get a head coach job, which you have never been, then you try to perfect that instead of trying to perfect two things at the same time.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you don't even have to be like that. You don't have to be the best offensive or defensive coordinator to be a good head coach. Vrabel was terrible. They were terrible in Houston before he got that job. But again, how you interview impacts things, because maybe Matt LaFleur, for example, was the wrong hire at the time, because Matt LaFleur was he would have been the first example of that. He was in L.A. with the Rams.
Yeah.
Sean McVay was calling plays, but he was the offensive coordinator. But he didn't get the job. Mike Vrabel got the job.
And what did they do? Say, call plays. We want you as our offensive
coordinator. We'll give you a year, then you go to Green Bay.
But they ain't say give you a year. He did, basically.
Yeah. He was like, you see what I just did with what I had?
Right.
Get me out of here.
See, so it was proof in the pudding. So, I appreciate that kind of observation, and that, to me, that should have went into this one. I don't know what happened.
I think when you get down to it, you look at the resume and you get resume drunk sometimes.
Yeah. Also,
and he probably is a nice guy, right? Like, I mean,
a great guy.
And you just got done
things,
dealing with Vrabel. It's probably a breath of fresh air to have Brian Callahan. I think they overlooked the nature of the game of football in the NFL for something completely opposite to Mike Vrabel.
The more important question is who overlooked it.
Yeah.
And how involved are they this time around? And do you have the requisite football background to ask the kind of questions that Blaine is pointing out, which is to people who understand this stuff at a deeper level than you could possibly ever have externally.
Right.
You have to be able to ask the most important questions rather than just get sold on the idea of somebody, because it's easier than the last guy that you dealt with. And it makes sense in your head because it made sense in fans' head, right? He's an offensive-minded guy with a promising young quarterback. All the things that popped up in Amy Adams Strunk's statement when she talked about, when she wrote, I guess, about, or whoever wrote about the idea of why this place was going to be attractive and mentioning things like Will Levis. That was packaged. That was sold as an idea, as what ownership wanted to go out and find. And then when they found the guy that they thought made sense in their head, they went with that instead of maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know if Dan Quinn would have done a better job here.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I don't know if...
But you know what Dan Quinn is, right? Like, I mean,
and he's done it.
You have the proof of concept with Dan Quinn.
And people like Blaine or anybody who's been around a football organization for an extended period of time would be able to identify and ask the right questions of somebody like Callahan versus Quinn, and why this makes more sense for the period of time where your football team is right now and how they can stabilize things and the background that they understand and they know how to delegate. That's the other thing, Blaine, like what you're bringing up, trying to be a master of so many things that you're a master of none at a certain point in time. Like Brian Callahan had a hard time delegating. They had to take it away from him, the play calling.
Yeah,
and he didn't think he did anything wrong.
Hell no,
That's the thing that got me.
He
I was
laughed at the question in the press conference. He was like, "No, I don't think there's anything wrong with my play calling ability." I was like,
I don't know what games you're watching,
brother. What are you talking about?
I mean, it got bad, and I do think that this Tennessee Titans like front office structure or whatever, when they hired Brian Callahan, to Buck's point, had an idea in mind. They wanted offense. They wanted offense. They wanted offense. Well, this guy coached Joe Burrow. He's coached Matt Stafford, and I'm sure that's what he told them. Hey, I coached all these quarterbacks, and I've been able to do this, and I'm going to get the best out of Will Levis. But there's something about having the proof of concept, because you read about it all the time, these coaches and everything. The why is everything. I reference that a lot. Mike Silver wrote that book. We had him on to promote it, but the stuff that goes into building a culture, that's on the head coach. The stuff that goes into, mapping out all these plans, that goes on the head coach. Doing this. Then there's stuff about travel that you probably never would have thought that you really had to deal with. And all this kind of stuff that goes under it. And that's why, like, a guy like Dan Quinn, I get that he is a defensive coach, right? But that is a guy that's been through this all. He's helped get a team to a Super Bowl. He's built up a structure, and sure, it flamed out a little bit in Atlanta, but sometimes tenures flame out, right? You just saw it flame out with Mike Vrabel. Sometimes stuff just happens. Your players get older, you don't move on from them quick enough and stuff like that. And sometimes, to me, it's like they wanted something new, something fresh, something marketable, and that's what they got in Brian Callahan. And it just fell flat because he wasn't able to do and handle all the conflict necessary, because there's so much conflict that comes with being a head coach. Exterior conflict, interior conflict. Like, there's so many stuff that you have to deal with, and I don't think he was ready for that part of the job. And that's hard to determine, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. A lot of coaches aren't. That's why you want them to have seasoned on one side of the ball. At least they'll have that right. And then the rest of the stuff, you figure if you're a first-time head coach, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So that was tough there. Great human being. And
lovely
good guy. But unfortunately, they moved on. And let's go now transition. How well has McCoy done?
I think
considering
he's done pretty good.
Comparable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Same players. In fact, a worse set of roster, by the way, because if you think about all the injuries that are happening, and they're still out there being competitive, so that says something to Mike McCoy, Denard Wilson, Bo Hardegree, Bones Fossil, all these guys that
and the
with
players
the roster
getting better.
Yeah, the roster deteriorating, but your young players getting better, and the play calling and dedication to the run game. Sure, it came a little slower than we probably all would have wanted, but it's here and it's working, and that shows you the blueprint for next year of what you may and may not want to be looking for.
Hey, and I'm going to say this. That's a lot harder than anybody's ever talked about, even myself. To what they're doing, transitioning, they didn't change the offense, but they went in a different direction with the offense. And it took some games or two to get them up to speed of what their identity kind of was. And we're going to run the football, we're going to play action pass. And then you had to sell it now to your players so they believe in you as a coaching staff. Yeah. And then you have a young team.
I think there's a lot
of
of
a sudden
belief.
A new voice is talking to you, where before this guy never said anything.
Right.
as the head coach. I mean, that is a huge transition in the middle of the freaking season, or at beginning third of the season.
Yeah.
That's tougher than anybody think. Did you write on that, Buck?
Yeah, no, we talked about it the last couple of weeks, specifically because of the kind of transitions that they've made, Blaine, and they'll downplay it when you ask them about it.
Yeah.
The idea of pre-snap motion and how much more you've seen it prevalent in what they're doing offensively in some of the games where they've played better football. They may not have won every game, and it's not, an end-all be-all, but some of the things that they're helping Cam do, and also Cam getting better through the process of this, these things happening. We've talked about it a little bit before, I think, on here, maybe a little last week, the idea of I don't necessarily know how to divvy up the credit. Like, does the coaching staff deserve more credit? Does Cam deserve more credit? Whatever the case may be, it's working the way that it needed to work. It's just, to Zach's point, taking a lot longer to get there. And I think the idea of what we're talking about with candidates and stuff like that, it's why I'm really, really skeptical. And I don't think you should rule anybody out. But I'm really, really skeptical of hiring somebody, again, that hasn't done this before. Because Mike McCoy, to me, is the definition of, all right, maybe he's not the greatest head coach in the history of time, but he's done the job before. Like, he understands the different dynamics. He understands. He's not that old a guy. I mean, he looks a little like a grandpa. He's only like 53 or something like that, Mike McCoy. But he's got this, I don't know, he's got this, the way that he carries himself. And I don't know how he was in San Diego as the head coach. But at least in this job, it felt like, all right, the adults are in charge. And we understand that this hasn't worked. And it's not going to be sudden, and we're not going to take anybody out and be like, oh, this guy didn't know what he was doing. I got this. No bravado. Just like, all right, no nonsense. I understand. I've done this. I've gotten this wrong. Bo, can you help me fix this part of it? Luke Stocker, can you maybe help divvy out situations or a little, give us an extra set of eyes in the run game? Guys who weren't getting opportunities, whatever the case may be. Just the adults are in the room. Now let's act like it. And I think the entire thing.
And that's fit, right?
He also knows what he didn't or wanted to change or didn't want to do or wanted to do differently from his first 4 years at the Chargers. So maybe he's doing things a little bit differently as well. So, like, that's the other reason why you can't rule out candidates with previous head coaching experience, because they are allowed to learn from their mistakes. They are allowed to learn and say, hey, I did this wrong. I do not want to do that wrong my second shot, because if I do the same stuff I did the first go-around, I won't get a third go-around, or I won't get to keep my job as head coach. So they know kind of what they kind of would do differently and what they can and can't get away with from their own perspective. A lot about head coaching for me is about knowing who you are, your identity as a coach, and being able to communicate and relay that effectively to the group of players that you have in the locker room.
Yeah, and so this is going to be the biggest decision in the organization's history, in my opinion.
I mean, it is. Yeah. It is. We'll talk more about the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints as well. This is the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Lee Company, all you need, visit them online at leecompany.com, and this is 104.5 The Zone. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the Lee Company countdown to kickoff. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Available 24/7. Put Lee Company on your team to tackle your home's heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical problems. Schedule online at leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Got Blaine Bishop, Buck Rising, and I'm Zach Lyons here, taking you all the way to 11 a.m. I just saw a red jersey, and it just reminds me, why didn't they ever wear those jerseys when they had them? They just sold a bunch of them, but never wore them. And Blaine was telling me how he got all tore up.
Yeah, I did.
There was somebody out here in a Blaine Bishop red jersey last week, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I really believe the team believed that we were going to wear on Christmas Day. I think we were going to play the Cowboys, those red jerseys. They were going to just unveil them.
Oh, you're talking about this Y-check one?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I like
look,
that
there's
one.
another one. There's an Eddie George
so
one
we
over
thought
there.
we were going to wear that on Christmas Day. The players believed it.
Yeah.
And when we got to the stadium, they said, no, can't do.
Oh, really?
What'd they tell you? I said, well, if Fisher had to say something. He was like, no, we're not going to wear these. So I thought he was kidding because he was kind of a prankster, too. I thought, hey, man, we're going to change it half even. That's how much belief most players believe that we were going to wear those red jerseys.
So the league was just like, no-go?
It never existed.
Oh, they just gaslit you guys.
No, they gaslit the fan. They sold them.
Yeah, sold a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I mean, because when I first moved up here in 2002, you saw them everywhere.
Yeah.
All of them. I mean, you saw all kinds of those jerseys, and I'm like, why don't they ever wear these jerseys?
That's great marketing there, man. That's how much. I think they started selling before the season started.
Speaking of which, do you guys think it's weird at all that they haven't worn Navy at home all season?
Well,
didn't they
get rid of Navy? Isn't that what's in there?
I guess.
No. What I'm saying? Well, I mean, they only told us that they were going to wear 2 jersey combos this year.
Oh,
I think it's not because they've worn the all whites on the road. I think it's a rebrand. I think new stadium.
Yeah, we
new look,
getting a new look.
Titans.
Yeah. They can make the numbers bigger.
Yeah, something like that. But they said that
they should be the first team to do cursive numbers.
They were like,
they don't even teach it in school anymore. You gotta,
right?
I know. That would be fun.
They were
they should put their Twitter handle on the names, man.
When
they announced they weren't going to wear the Oilers jerseys this year, they said that these were just going to be the 2 combos.
Yeah, well, they're tired of getting their asses kicked by the Texans in the Oilers jersey. That's why they stopped wearing the Oilers.
Wear them for different games.
Okay, I'm just saying. They kept wearing them against the Texans. They can't. I don't think it's accidental.
Because they kept losing.
Or I don't think it's coincidental.
What was the record versus the Texans in those jerseys?
0-2.
Oh,
right?
Was it?
And guess what? They're 0-2 in the jerseys this year too. So I don't think it really matters.
Levis wore it against the Falcons in the first game. And he had the 4 touchdown passes, right? And it looked great.
That was the last time we wore it. Huh?
Well, in a win. It's the only time.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time they won in the jerseys is against the Falcons.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know.
But I'm just I just had noticed that, and I was like, man, a couple of Saints fans filtering in, but a lot of Titans fans today. You have to say that.
Well, weather's nice.
Yeah, weather's great,
and they looked good last week. We haven't talked about that yet. They look. They looked like a professional football team last week.
Well, I mean, for the last 3 weeks, you could say that they have looked like a professional football team.
I agree.
And I think that does go in large part to Mike McCoy and the staff, but I think also the development of the young players.
And Cam Ward.
And then, the 2024 draft class, everybody was kind of crapping on J.C. Latham. And if you're on YouTube, you see me pointing at Buck Rising, but he's played well.
Stop getting penalties. It's fine. You can be a good right tackle and not get penalties. I reserve the right to be pissed about that.
I think he can have penalties and still play well.
He has. He has done both.
I was just making sure.
He has done both.
I bet the Saints would love to have him as a tackle. Offensive tackle, they're struggling there. Dylan Radins is actually starting.
Titans legend.
Yeah, left guard for Dylan Radins right now.
I'm just saying.
But let me say something. This Saints depth chart for wide receiver. Have y'all seen this depth chart?
Not recently.
Why do I need to look at the depth? I got Chris Olave. Just try to stop him.
So, but the other guys are Mason Tipton, Kevin Austin Jr., and Dante Pettis. Those are the other 3 wide receivers.
But somebody's hurt, though, that was really good, too, right?
No, they traded Shaheed.
Yeah, they traded Rashid Shaheed.
There was another guy that was pretty solid.
They Trey Palmer went on IR, but Bub Means and Devon Vell. He was the guy they traded for with the Broncos.
Oh, like
that's
for the
who it
fourth
was,
round
yeah.
pick.
Yeah, for the fourth round
Yeah,
pick.
that
The
guy.
seventh round player, I think, for the fourth round pick, or the sixth round
he's
player for
pretty
the fourth
good.
round pick.
Pretty good. Up-and-coming player.
So, yeah. So, I mean, this offense for the New Orleans Saints looks eerily similar to the Tennessee Titans currently. Since Week 12, since they've both been off bye, I wanted to see what they did since Week 12. The offense is 26 in points, or 26 in efficiency, and the Titans are 25th in efficiency.
Oh.
In yards gained, the Saints are 20th, the Titans are 23rd. In points scored, the Titans have scored 108, the Saints have scored 100. So, I mean, like, they're pretty similar over these last few weeks, but the difference is the defense. This is, right now, since Week 12, a top 3 defense. So, yet again, here comes Cam Ward having to go against another top 3 defense.
What are they overall?
Overall, they are
not in the top. They are not in the top.
No,
10.
they're top 8 in yards and 14 in points
14.
allowed. But I'm just talking about these last few weeks.
Right.
well, I guess, Blaine, if I'm...
Number 4 pass defense, by the way.
Yeah. Kool-Aid.
I'm
I
assuming...
know Kool-Aid. Oh, I'm sure you know of him with Alabama.
It's
Oh,
one,
yeah.
of, one of the
I
best
love
names in
Kool-Aid
sports, Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah.
Blaine,
I
I'm
love the
assuming what you're pointing out, and you can make whatever point you want to make about this, but like just because they're playing good football these last couple of weeks doesn't mean they're not gettable because they've had things all season long.
That's what I'm getting.
No, for sure. But it's just it's
They
kind
have
of
gotten
crazy.
hot, but so has Shuck,
Yeah.
and so has Ward. I mean, so it's going to kind of balance itself out. The offensive line is playing much better now for the Titans.
Yes.
Oh, infinitely better.
And this is a 23rd ranked defense when you look at yards allowed. So you should be able to find.
Supposed to.
Yes, you're supposed to be able to find some yards on the ground against this team. So you want to make sure that the momentum that you have built as a Tennessee Titans team so far these last 3 or 4 weeks, you don't all of a sudden abandon it. Because it feels like sometimes we see that. Like we saw it with Art Smith, like he wanted to run against the number 1 defense in the NFL against Tampa Bay, then turn around the next week and wanted to pass against the number 1 pass defense in Carolina. Like we see play callers do these weird things.
Didn't the Ravens just do it with Derrick Henry?
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, they abandoned using Derrick Henry, right? And that's John Harbaugh.
So what's the difference between abandoning or going with the flow of how the game is going and adjusting through the game? What's working?
Well, I think that there is a difference in how you start the game and how you choose to attack in the first quarter, and that's what when I watch those games, I remember being like in the first quarter, like, what are they doing?
Right. Well, typically you have that 15-play, script, and then that's telling you how they're going to approach it, and as a coordinator how to then counter that. And if you feel like those don't work, it's just like having a 4-3 scheme and then you slide it left or right and they're playing an over defense or an under defense. Well, the plays that we worked on this week is probably not going to work. So that's what I'm asking. I'm not trying to be on the other side of it. I'm just trying to ask, like, sometimes it can be viewed one way or another, but are they making adjustments along the way and doing what's necessary to win the game?
Well,
I don't know, because some players may have their game. Be like, hey man, that's a shutdown corner, and all of a sudden you start attacking. Oh man, he's up there playing with a hurt ankle. He's not as good as he normally is, so we're going to attack him.
Blaine, how much harder is it to determine these things in real time on the sideline?
It's really hard.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's really hard.
We get to these post-game press
conferences. You got to have the
conferences.
people up top to see that.
Yeah.
And then to tell you got to be that trusted, staff, to make sure you're on the right point. And I think that's part of an issue too.
No,
with the Titans.
I think. Well, there's a couple of different things.
There.
Yeah, but they're doing a better job now,
Right.
and then listening. Sometimes they could be telling you information. You as a coordinator say, "Nope, I'm still doing this."
I'm just saying there's a million different things, and it's not an excuse. Like everybody's got to understand how to have a good flow of communication. But there are so many more television angles than the coaching staff in real time is privy to on the sideline. So many different things that you have access to.
They got somebody up there for that too.
So much more information in real time because they have these stats.
It's hard.
It's like, I'm not saying that you're allowed to struggle with it, because we saw Brian Callahan struggle with it on a lot of different fronts. I'm just saying there's a lot of different things, because we ask a lot of questions in postgame that we've seen a million different angles of, and Mike McCoy maybe has some notes on a piece of paper that somebody jotted down for him.
Well, and I think there's also,
It's
y'all
hard.
talk about communication. I don't think that with Brian Callahan there was a good streamlining of communication, and maybe that's one of the big differences is that there's one maybe one voice or one singular voice at a time. Whereas there were rumors that Bill Callahan was calling run plays, and then you have to give up play calling. Then you got Nick Holtz up in the booth, Bo Hardegree down here calling plays to Brian Callahan, and then
all of that right
all
there.
of that.
Bo has talked about this. Bo Hardegree has talked about this at practice. He basically describes it as a tale of 3 seasons for the offensive coaching staff and how they've had to kind of change the way that they do things.
Yep. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk about Tyler Shuck versus Cam Ward. We're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints. This is the League Company Countdown to Kickoff right here on 104.5 The Zone. It's the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Lee Company. All you need, visit them online at leecompany.com. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by SA Recycling. SA Recycling reminds you to be a good fan this game day and look for recycle bins in and around Nissan Stadium. Joined by Blaine the Hitman Bishop, Buck Rising over to my left. I'm Zach Lyons. I'm gonna ask you this question, Buck. We talked about this on Cover 2 earlier in the week about the narrative around this game versus Tyler Shuck versus Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just how media narratives work, right? Technically, Cam Ward is not going out there and throwing against 11 Tyler Shucks.
Sure.
But that is how the narrative works. How big of this game is it? How big is this game for, like, rookie honors such as the all-rookie pro football team?
I mean, it is significant, right? Because those things will be voted on, and optics are, I wouldn't say they're more important than context. Like, there are people who take their voting seriously on that. There are people who vote based off, they may check a box score next to one another or something like that rather than actually go through and watch a lot of these games. I do think that it is natural for media to have those narratives going in. I think it's only the third time we've seen a head-to-head rookie quarterback, two teams quarterbacked by rookies go head-to-head so far this season, with the Titans obviously playing the Browns earlier in the year. I think fans have a tendency to also, and just football fans, right? Sports fans. We have a tendency to look at guys who were drafted in the same year and be like, all right, is my guy better? Is that guy performing at a higher level to where I can say my team got it right and the Browns got it wrong, or who else drafted a rookie this year? The Giants got it wrong. However you might view those kind of things. So I think for Cam, if I'm a Titans fan, today to me is about, all right, saw you do it once, saw you play well in a win, seen you make progress, and your team win 2 out of their last 3, which for this team, for this franchise here the last couple of years, that's not insignificant. Now, if they were to win today against a team that's gettable, that would be the first time that they've won back-to-back games since 2022. Nobody should take that for granted, and what that would mean,
both at home,
and both at home after not winning a home game in 412 days prior. Like, these things matter, not just because 2022 is the last time it's happened, Blaine.
Make sure I can't.
But to build up, like to watch Cam build up, and to watch them build up, and genuinely, like, I know it's a cliche, but learn how to win football games as a young football team that's going to get more young pieces and parts next year that will have to also go through this process. It's a great opportunity for Cam Ward, Chimere Dike, Gunnar Helm, Alec Iamaner, any of these guys who are still
even
playing.
Peter Skoronski.
Peter Skoronski said he has not won back-to-back games since COVID in college.
That's wild.
Maybe
Peter Skoronski's the problem. We're just not talking. He's a bad luck charm.
He's
bad luck charm, Peter
No.
Skoronski.
Nobody playing that well on a team like this should be blamed for much at this point in time.
That was the question. That was a great question there by Zach there. We talked about it a little bit. But it always goes back to even the Shador game. And do you want to win the game, or do you want to have the quarterback that has the best stats?
Sure.
Right.
And so I think that's how fans need to, kind of look at this. And whether Shuck, I think, threw for his first 300-yard game last game in his career. We haven't seen that out of Cam yet, a 300-yard game, have we? No. He hadn't had a 300-yard game. So I'd love to see him get a 300-yard game and a win. And so whether the stats bear it out or not, if he had a good day or not, ultimately, as a quarterback, you're judged on wins. And I think that's what now, Cam needs to be looking for, is do enough to win the game. Take what they're giving you. Be consistent throughout. He hasn't turned the ball over, protecting the football, too, as well. And he's getting better protection. And hadn't thrown any picks. So I think if you continue down that path and continue on this upward tick over these last 2 games, I think we'll be right where we need to be, and we'll be having a shot at winning this game.
No, the root cause, to me, for all of it, is the offensive line playing at a higher level because they're running the football. It in turn takes pressure off Cam. Cam has fewer opportunities where he was, what was he, 4th in dropbacks
attempts
this season?
That's insane.
It's just for a rookie. Outrageous, right? So he's doing that against the defenses that he's doing it against. And all of a sudden, when you can just take a little less, they're not taking a lot less. He's still got to go out there and quarterback the team to a win. By the way, to his credit, because we haven't, there are things that need to be paid attention to as bars that he's setting along the way. He is the only quarterback I could find yesterday that's played 100% of the snaps for his team this season.
Yeah.
Where you're watching Malik Willis and Tyler Huntley last night on Saturday Night Football. I don't know what the count currently is for quarterbacks, the amount of quarterbacks that have started games here. This dude is the most sacked quarterback in football. He's made every not just every start, every snap. Yeah. He hasn't missed a snap. So these are critical opportunities along the way. Zach brought this up earlier. Would you have liked it to have happened to started before week 14, which is when it felt like this was the jumping off point for them? Sure. But
do you think that happened
now
because of the coaching change?
Yes.
I think
that's
so.
what slowed the process down. And then he had to reboot and say, oh, no, we're not going to be throwing all over the yard now. We're going to be running and throwing.
Well, they even changed how long individual drills lasted and all that stuff under Mike McCoy. They reshaped the entire practice.
Again, the adults were in the room.
Right. Cam Ward, 319 pass attempts against playoff teams. Teams currently in the playoffs, 319 pass attempts. The next one underneath him, that's number one in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence is 297 underneath him. Isn't that just wild to think about a rookie with that's supposed to have a fourth-place schedule? But that also goes into, again, experience, right? You can't, manufacture this kind of experience that he's getting this season to be able to build off of. And I think that's why when you look at Cam Ward, I think right now you want the stats, obviously. I know everybody's craving a 300-yard, 3-touchdown performance and all that kind of stuff. But
would you rather have the win? Yeah, would you rather win? Pollard over 70 yards, then he'll be over 1,000. I think he needs 51 or so.
He goes again. Shuck gets his first 300-yard game against a Jets defense that doesn't even have an interception yet this year.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that crazy? That's like the Kansas City Chiefs receiving touchdown stat from about 10 years ago or something. Right. Like none of the receivers had a touchdown until like week 18.
Watch this. I know we're going to have to you probably have to go look it up. See how many sacks the Jets have. I bet you it's low because that then produces bad throws and interceptions. Yeah. So if you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, it all works hand in hand. And so I'd love to see if they have a lot of sacks and then still no interceptions, that would be crazy to me.
That's 25 sacks.
Oh, yeah.
Where would that put him?
I would say, I think second to last, because I think San Francisco's the lowest.
Don't the Broncos have like 68 or something outrageous?
Something crazy like that,
disgusting.
Sure.
See, so that shows you how defense works hand in hand, and that's the same thing on offense. You can just look at a stat and go, man, they have no interceptions. Well, we're not getting pressure. We're not making people get rid of the ball fast. They're not getting harassed.
Yeah.
And so, everybody's going to be on point. This is the NFL. It's like 7-on-7 there.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, how you can kind of look at.
They got a Bishop jersey in the house. Always
there
good
you go.
To see.
That's how you can kind of look at this season going for the Tennessee Titans right now. Is that the Tennessee Titans are getting sacks, getting pressure on the quarterback, and they're doing that without anybody to really write home about, right? I mean, like this. The Tennessee Titans are just outside the top 10 in sacks with 38.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a way bigger difference than where they were last year as a defense. And again, speaks to the work that Denard Wilson is doing. But they're also able to get sacks, get pressures. Jeffrey Simmons is 1 sack away from double digits. I'm sure he's going to be trying to get that today. But then you kind of look at it and look at who's in their secondary. I mean, Jalen Armour-Davis came back and then Marcus Harris goes down. You lost 3 safeties in one game. It's been insane the work that Denard Wilson has done compared to what you saw him do last year. That's a coach that has shown growth and adaptability at the NFL level, and I think that's so good to see for the Tennessee Titans team, but also good for Denard Wilson for wherever he may end up next year. Even if he is here, I just don't know.
But that is a true statement.
Yeah.
Right, Buck.
Good for the resume.
Yeah, it is.
Great for the resume.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So that's what I mean, even the Jets not having Cam Ward, Shuck has only started 7 games, right? He's played in more games than that, but he's only started. He's 4-3, I think. And he's starting to hit a hot streak here. I think they've won 3 in a row as him as a quarterback.
Yeah.
So that means he started 1-3.
Right, exactly. So now he's up to speed, and we'll see who's the better quarterback, because that's going to be the conversation. I heard people talking about, if we redid the draft for the quarterbacks, who would go number 1?
It'd still be Cam Ward.
I know. Come on,
I mean, people are just full of themselves.
Buck has a little hesitation.
No, I mean, I think he's probably right, but I don't think it's
maybe not number 1 overall, but maybe first quarterback taken.
Right.
I mean, because if you're the Titans, maybe you trade back.
Dart, and then we're talking about Shuck.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean the Dart thing is like, you got to quit being an idiot. Like you're playing with reckless abandon.
5 sacks last week, 33 pass yards.
I mean, you need to, and that's a game where he's not even getting checked for a concussion the way that he is in half of these games this year. Like he had the best start of any of them. He has had a very disappointing. He's petering out very obviously. I think Shucks, and I don't know how many draft analysts were saying this beforehand. I think it's easy to do with revisionist history once you see how these guys have started to pan out. But I mean, I don't think there's anything to say that he's not the second best quarterback of the so far that we've seen, like of Cam and Gabriel and Shador and Dart. I think Shuck has been, solid. I think he's been okay. I think there's a learning curve. I think he's got help with Kellen Moore, who's also, by the way, doing this for the first time, but called plays in his previous previous stops.
I just named the wide receivers, right? Mason Tipton, Kevin Austin Jr., and all these guys, and then it's Chris Olave, obviously.
Well, let's not forget their tight end, Mr. Johnson.
Juwan Johnson. But what he's doing is impressive.
All right, now I'm going to say this, though. Is he elevating the team, Shuck? Is he elevating the Saints with what he has to work with? And is Cam Ward elevating his team with what he has to work with? Who has the tougher job?
Oh, well.
Because that's what quarterbacks are supposed to do.
I would say that probably Shuck has the tougher job. That's tough to
say. Oh, that's a tough call, though.
Because he does have Chris Olave.
He has Chris Olave, but and he has his tight end. Is a little more proven than the guys we got, but they're up and coming. But their offensive line isn't as good as the Titans.
Yeah, right now.
They don't have a running game.
Yeah, they don't have a running game. That is true.
So you start looking and going, well, man, he's elevating the team to a certain extent.
And I think it's just a question. There's going to be some level of unknown, right? Which is like, all right, is Tyler Shuck good enough to win 5 games and no more, and like elevate your team to a certain point? Could he be? Is he a legit starting quarterback? They seem to be building around him.
It could buy him more time until the next draft, not this upcoming.
How much of it is Kellen Moore?
Right. How much is
all of these are fair things. Like if he ends up being Davis Mills, which is a starter to an extent.
Levis.
Yeah, sure. Like
Levis.
One of these guys who maybe has a ceiling and may benefit from an additional situation. May take him a little longer, right? He could go. I mean, how long did it take Geno to finally make the full turnaround? Damn near a decade in the NFL, right? I mean, it takes a while for these guys to get there. So if Cam's Shuck had the benefit of sitting at the start. Cam did not. As we talked about, he's played every snap. So figure it out, bud. You just got to go out there and figure it out to a certain extent. Whereas Shuck, I think, could have benefited. I don't know definitively, but could have benefited by, all right, let me watch Rattler go out there, do a couple of things, get my feet under me in the meetings without having to be the guy the whole time, the whole thing basically on your shoulders the whole way through, and also on a bad football team.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, too, because I don't think Spencer Rattler was really playing bad football, but they weren't winning games.
He was fine.
And they were looking for the spark. And Shuck has... Even though he started 1-3, these last 3 games he's looked pretty good. And I did not like Tyler Shuck a lot. I still have, I will see how long his career lasts and everything.
Right.
But he may just be a backup. He may be a Dennis Kelly. He's a guy that can win you a few games here and there, but there's a definitive ceiling. But until we see it, we're just projecting. And with Cam Ward, I would say that I think Cam Ward does have the better surroundings currently. The on-paper roster for the offensive roster, I think, is better around Cam Ward than it is around the Saints. But I do wonder how much of the Saints' issues are hidden because of scheme, because of how they're able to maybe get people open. Whereas the Tennessee Titans, yeah, they get people open, but then there's drops. Then there's inaccurate passes. I mean, all of that stuff. So I'm not trying to diss this coaching staff who's done a good job, but I think that Kellen Moore has proven right now that he can do a lot with less. and I think there is less on the Saints.
Right, so he's done a good job in his first year as a head coach with what he's had, with his offense, at least in the short term, and what he's gotten out of Shuck in the 7 start. So it'll be an interesting matchup. Now, I'm interested to watch Shuck live and in person because there's another part of it. You got the stat side of it and then winning game side of it with the quarterback, and you're, attached to that. But it's also the eyeball test. You want to actually see him live and see if he's going through progression reads. There's a sharp passing game, and then all of a sudden they come up with, Tyson Hill throws him off, and they bring in another quarterback, and then all of a sudden he comes back in. Then he throws deep to Olave. How do they get you offset? Is it more that than just him being a methodical quarterback, taking what the defense gives you, and even under pressure? And is it him that's elevating the team, or is it more or less the team?
And these last 2 games, Shuck hasn't really been under pressure a lot. He's played 2 of the least pressuring defenses.
He's going to come with it now.
I mean, the Panthers, I love what Ejiro Evero's doing over there as the defensive coordinator of the Panthers, but they're still bottom tier. They're number 30th in sacks and pressures. Jets are 31st in sacks and pressures.
Where do the Saints stack up?
The Saints are
their defenses.
They're actually a little bit behind. They're a couple spots behind Tennessee Titans in sacks and pressures. So, for Shuck, you have to be able to win games in the NFL. And nobody can take that away from you. But also, we can also look at the idea of, okay, maybe these guys, the pressure that he's going to see today is different than the pressure he's seen the last 2 weeks. And now we'll see what Tyler Shuck can do against this defense.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about, what it's going to look like today. I think it could be fun. You know? I mean, I was kind of – I was hoping for that last week with Minshew, just because Minshew will put it out there. He'll give you some chances. Just a little bit of fun. It's crazy. He may have blown his knee out on. Well, maybe not all the way blow his knee out.
I'm like, what?
But they still shut him down for the year.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy.
What did he do, though?
But you just saw him come up lame on that third play of the game. It was weird
all day.
For sure. For the Chiefs to have those kind of injuries back-to-back weeks, that's a tough scene. But I think these are 2 teams that at least, again, we try not to get carried away with progression as linear, because we know that it's not. So they could both have setbacks today.
No doubt.
We could come away being like, all right.
This could be a 6-3 slop fest.
It could be something, right?
Here's my beef
but it could be fun.
With stats.
Could be fun.
Here's my beef when I first started having beef with the stats. What if Cam Ward or Shuck plays horrible? Pick one. But the team still wins.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he gets the win under his belt.
Oh, sure.
That he was the winner.
That's why I hate quarterback wins.
That's why that should not be a stat.
Quarterback wins as a stat.
But Blaine, I love it.
Attached.
I love the way that Jeff Simmons handles Cam Ward in those situations, because he got up there last week and was like, "Don't be the Grinch.
Yeah,
don't be the Grinch. All right,
ooh, yeah,
hey,
we got food.
You can't be perfect all of the time." And you may have you may throw for 2 touchdowns, but only 100 and something yards like he did in Cleveland. But we won. We helped you out. We did our job. Right. You do enough, and we'll help you.
There's sports right there.
There's some days, like in San Francisco, we're not going to be able to get off the field. We're going to need you on it. You know what I'm saying?
That is the worst feeling ever.
These things, yeah, I bet.
Oh, man.
Just going for a ride. The only stop they got was that Jeff Simmons forced fumble, a call that they never get.
Yeah. 49ers haven't punted. I mean, isn't that
crazy? They
done
it against every team, though. I mean,
that is talk about an offensive system that I wish the Tennessee Titans
had.
The Shanahan offensive system.
Oh man! So can we steal anybody off of Shanahan's? Anybody over there?
They're Salah. He's not been talked about here at all.
Salah?
There's no information about him in these reported candidates list. There's no noise about him here. Wow. Really, I think that's worth watching, because that's a popular name.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I love that he gets the benefit of the doubt, but a guy like Matt Nagy doesn't. There's a very, very lot of favoritism and excuse making made on Robert Saleh's behalf that Matt Nagy's not getting the benefit. Is it because
it was the Jets? Well, the Bears is
the Jets for sure, and also he had to deal with petulant Aaron Rodgers. Like,
and then there's a lot of stuff where he was petulant himself, trying to get rid of all those cell phones from the coaching staff and stuff.
Yeah.
But listen, everybody can change. I'm willing to be. I'm fairly open about the coaching search, and it's always hard for me to narrow down, who my top candidate is, because at this point it just needs to be someone that can do the damn job. I feel
Such
like
a low
they didn't.
bar.
It is, but I mean. That's why it's like there's people, I don't know if on your chat or anything, but there's people that are on our chat, they're like, well, let's just stick with Mike McCoy. And I'm like, no, let's aim higher. Can we aim higher than Mike McCoy? And I'm not trying to bash the job that he's done or anything, but also just let's be better. Let's get a better version of Mike McCoy, whatever he's doing or something like that.
Well, what if he had more pieces? What do you think Mike McCoy's saying? Oh, man, well, just imagine when
I'm sure he's selling himself behind the scenes.
I don't know.
#1 wide receiver.
I think he's like, man, this was tough. I don't know if
he's exhausted.
I was like, hey, man.
Well, you see him at every presser.
I was just, no, honestly, I understand Zach's perspective, but like, to your point, Blaine, I'm seeing this dude every day and kind of the situation that he's been put into. Like, I think Mike McCoy's doing a damn good job given the circumstances. Like, you don't have to want him to be your next head coach, but also acknowledge that the guy has done a significantly better job than the hot young hire that was going to turn the place around, theoretically.
All right, coming up next, who's in, who's out for the Tennessee Titans versus New Orleans Saints? We'll give you our final predictions and wrap up our preview of the game. This is the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff right here on 104.5 The Zone. It's the Lee Company countdown to kickoff. Lee Company. All you need, visit them online at leecompany.com. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical problems, and they can protect your home too. Your next play, visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Titans versus Saints today here at the home regular season finale.
Oh.
Titans have a chance to not only get back-to-back wins, but back-to-back home wins, which is probably for the first time in forever on both those fronts. We know one of them is at least, 2022?
Yes.
Is that one?
Weeks 11 and 12 of 2022.
Woo, that's
I was
so
there.
long ago.
Yep.
So long
It
ago.
sure was.
The Titans inactives are out. Safety Jarek Reed is out. Guard Drew Moss is out. Defensive tackle Cam Horsley is out. Guard Garrett Dellinger is out. And tackle Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. Second week in a row he's been inactive.
Blaine, your thoughts?
Oh, man. I don't know any of those players.
Except for Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon.
I do know that. I'm interested to see, what's his injury? He's on the injury report, right?
Yep.
Cam Horsley was here during training camp, but he's been hanging out on the
Bring it
practice
back.
squad
Yeah.
for a little while. So yeah, I mean that's a good sign because the only player that you are missing after the last couple of weeks of seeing extended work is Marcus Harris.
Right.
Yeah, he's injured, right?
Cedric Gray is cleared from concussion protocol, so he'll be back today. He's having a really nice season so far as a starting linebacker for them, and you know, it'll be good to see him back out there. It was also fun to get a little bit of James Williams last week, as we talked about.
He did good.
I agree, Blaine. I thought he took advantage of his opportunities there, and so we'll see Cedric Gray back in the lineup today. But, I mean, for the most part, you're knock on something pretty healthy heading into the end of the season, which is more than you can say about most teams. Do you know, Fitzy asked me this last night we were doing the Fox show, do you guys know who leads or who is the team this season with the fewest amount of games lost to injury? This you'll never guess. Blew my mind. So like Blaine,
the Patriots.
no. Blaine, you got a guess? The least injured team in football this year.
The least injured team in football this year or the Tennessee Titans.
The Las Vegas Raiders, the worst team in football.
Oh, well, that's not good at all.
They are so healthy by a wide margin, and they are awful.
Oh, my.
Truly awful.
Jeez.
Imagine. So it could be worse.
No Carol talk of time to go? No?
Oh, there's
no, I
a
think there
lot of
is.
talk about that.
I think there is.
I think they would be a little crazy to do that, a little crazy, but, I mean, listen.
I'm sorry, but like, you know, and it doesn't mean that he can't get better at this, but like Tom Brady deserves some heat here too.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't this all supposed to be done under the guidance of the great one?
And he didn't want Sam Darnold.
Well, he thought he also had Ben Johnson in the bag. He was wrong about
Yeah,
that.
and then he also thought he had Matt Stafford, too, so he's been
No.
wrong quite a bit.
They just ran into
Yeah,
each
they just
other
ran
at that
into
ski
each other.
resort.
Excuse me.
That
They
wasn't
just ran into each other.
premeditated.
Not premeditated.
Ridiculous.
Saints inactives today. Backup safety Ugo Amadi.
Oh, he's from here.
Titans
Yep.
legend.
Wide receiver Mason Timpton, who we were just talking about earlier, he is out. Reg John Wright, their fifth-string cornerback, Alvin Kamara, is not playing.
Oh.
That's a shame.
Cesar Ruiz, their starting right guard, is out.
Yeah.
Zaire Mitchell-Payton, their third or fourth string tight end. And their starting defensive tackle, Brian Breesy.
Brian Breesy?
So Brian Breesy, their starting defensive tackle, he is out.
Breesy, yeah.
So you got two starters in the trenches out for the Saints.
Yeah, that's good for
and
us.
the Titans have all their starters.
They got
in the
scared of
trenches.
Jeff.
They
Yeah,
did.
They got a little.
I mean, yeah.
Yep. I mean, he's gunning
Playing-
for that double-digit sacks. Listen.
He's playing
put his
really
money
well.
where his mouth is, right?
He did.
Put his money where his body is too, I guess, because he got
man.
faster and everything.
He got this game of next week to get it.
Yeah. I mean, just the job that he has done this year,
Oh,
thoroughly amazed, thoroughly impressed.
No, he's been awesome. Jeff Simmons, you know, and there are fair criticisms of Jeff leading up to this season, and I think he's met every challenge by his own teammates, by his coaching staff, by fans, by media, just the idea that I think he's been in a season that's been tough. Like Jeffrey has upheld his part of the bargain and deserves to be somebody. And really, like Blaine, this has to mean something to people like you who have been a part of this organization for a long, long time, and for fans who have been here since the team moved here. Like that, and you know, you try not to believe everything that you hear, but I genuinely believe him at his core that he wants to be here and that he wants to be a part of the turnaround. Not just like guys, because some guys can say it and you can be like, okay, there's some reasons. I genuinely think that he believes in what they're doing, even though they've given a lot of reason for him not to. It's a credit to who he is and the way that he's kind of fought through this year.
Yeah, and to play at this level, knowing going in every game, teams are game planning and scheming to stop you, and to still have that kind of production has been pretty impressive. And I'm actually even more impressed with how they implemented him on offense and showed his athleticism as a big D tackle.
Kind of natural with it.
Pretty
Soft
easy
hands
for him. Yeah, so you just got to appreciate that and his development as a leader. He's kind of grown into this leadership role now, and I think now he's a lot more comfortable in that role. So he's grown too, and I believe him just like you do and everybody else that he wants to be here. So they're going to make sure that he's here. When you got an elite player like that in the prime of his career, you're going to get the value out of the money that you give him. So it'll be interesting to see what that will be when he gets that extension.
Well, and I can't remember who I was talking about with this, but like the idea that him and Jarrell Casey had similar adversities that they had to go through while being good players. I think Jeff is a better version. Like Jarrell was obviously excellent and had success towards the end of his career, team success towards the end of his career. Jeff had it right when he came into the league, being on the same team. But I think that, to your point, Blaine, about seeing the kind of personal transformation that he's undergone, like the home break-in situation where they come back from San Francisco.
Wow.
And he breaks down with us in the locker room after the fact because, it would be easy for anybody to be filled with bile and hate and, negativity about the situation and just want to go out there and wring the life out of those people that broke into your house. But he immediately starts in on one, he's just happy that his mom wasn't there because she watches his road games at the house. And two, the idea that it reaffirms his belief in the community work that he's doing as the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for this team for the third straight year, because he just kept going back to the idea of those people that broke into my house, they just feel like they lost their path along the way, and that's why it's so important to give back to youth who may not have the opportunity to look up to somebody or who can have different kind of influences in their life, because you can lessen the percentage chance of situations like that happening. I thought it was a really cool moment from Jeff.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, just a really good turnaround from him because, like Blaine said, also, like the leadership, I think that he, when he was drafted, the leadership was kind of already established, and then Vrabel leaves, Henry leaves, all these guys leave, Byard leaves right before the season, all that stuff, like all these guys leaves, there was a void, and I don't think he knew how to fill that void and also be himself, and I think we're seeing right now his year 2 away from those people, he's really coming to his own, and I do think that is worth commending on such multiple levels that he set out to do something. He told everybody he was going to do it, and he's one sack away from doing it, and that's being double digits.
Man, something that he has never done, right?
Right, never done it. He's already hit his career high at 9 sacks. So now he's going to not only just get his career high, but he could get 11 sacks. He could get 12 sacks. There's nothing stopping him from being stopped at 10, except for there's only one more game after this one.
This is the question I want Buck to ask him in the locker room.
Uh-oh.
I wish you would have asked it this week. So since going into next week, who do they play? The Jaguars.
Yep. Jaguars.
All right. Jeff, would you rather get a sack on Trevor Lawrence, or would you rather have me put on pads and you get to sack me?
I think I know the answer to that. I can certainly ask.
And I'd be interested to see what he say. He'd probably have a nice little chuckle about it and said, no, naturally it'd be Trevor Lawrence.
I think Jeff likes playing the Jags. I think there's plenty of players in that locker room who would have liked to take a run at me at some point in time.
Oh, man.
It's all right. That's why you show up.
Yeah, that's what's fun,
Oh, for sure.
All right, the over-under for this game is 39.5 points. Do we think this is going to be a fun game like that? Where
I'm optimistic. I really am. Like I feel like I never say that.
The refs screwed me last week.
Oh, with
I had
the Jeff Simmons
Titans money line, Tony Pollard.
The refs screwed.
Yeah, the Tony Pollard anytime touchdown and the over, and the refs got me.
So, or are you saying the refs or the league?
Well, but the league.
Oh.
The refs are the league.
Script writers.
Yeah.
The people that write the NFL
They got the call on their headset. They could ignore it.
I could believe that.
They got the call on the headset, though, to call that play
Okay,
back.
you're like Puka Nakua out here with these conspiracy theories.
I'm just saying.
You've been watching too much TikTok. I think it's funny, though, to see the way that they botch that, because they're clearly they look like they are acknowledging Jeff Simmons reporting eligible, and they're actually acknowledging Ole Udoh. So I guess they just didn't see Jeffrey Simmons out there.
Oh, my gosh.
Big red arm with a big brace on it.
This big old massive human being running there, just 98.
I mean, I know Ole Udoh's a big guy, too, but I'm surely you saw the big arm.
One would think that's what the refs told him after the fact. They also told Mike McCoy that they couldn't challenge a review the other week. So, not the crispest
I think I'm going to
performance.
take up being a referee, man. How much they paying, man?
Yeah.
Some of these, there's some of this stuff you just can't miss. You can't miss that human being running on the field.
You never get fired from your job.
Yeah, man.
No matter how bad you're bad at
it. All they do is just boo me for the bad call by going to, you don't get to go to the Super Bowl as a referee. Whoa.
The Saints are favored in this matchup by 1.5 points. They were favored earlier in the week at 3.5, if I'm not mistaken. I think I was talking about that a couple days ago.
No, but that feels right.
They got
a better defense. Their quarterback's been as good as the other quarterback. Like, what's the discernible difference other than the Saints have a better unit? Well, I guess the Titans' special teams has been good with
special
Jim.
teams as well as our offensive line is just as or better than theirs. So I'm going Titans 20. Since they said 39, I'm going 21-20.
21-20.
High scoring affair.
I like
That's
it.
high scoring.
I mean, for these two, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's where we're going.
I love that.
I'm thinking a special team touchdown or interception touchdown. Somebody's going to get lucky.
I hope so. Give me something. Give me a little juice.
You know what? I think I'm going to go with the Titans score 28 points today, and the Saints score 21. I think the Titans win by a touchdown.
28. That's
that's a lot.
Yes,
But they've been able to put up some points. I think that there's going to be some Cam Ward magic today.
Ooh, Cam Ward magic.
Yeah, you like that?
And he throws for over 300.
I'm not going that far. Maybe 292. We may just have to live with 292 or something like that.
No.
Watch him go.
I'm going for 305.
299.
Yeah, 299.
And 2 touches and no interceptions.
He's not been throwing interceptions. He's not been fumbling the football. Blaine, you brought that up earlier.
Yeah, that's man, because he was carrying that thing like a loaf of bread. It was kind of perturbing me.
I will say 9 of the last 10 Saints games have been the under. The under is hit.
So
9 of the last 10. So I'm going against the trend. Going against the trend.
So
It's going to be an over.
It has to change at some point, huh?
Yeah, it has to. New Orleans Saints are straight up on the road 2-5. So on the year, they're 2-5 on the road.
Let me tell you the real reason why I'm going for the Titans.
Why?
Dome team.
Ooh.
Dome team. Mm-hmm. Blaine, it's beautiful out here.
They play different outside regardless.
No, that's fair. That's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real
That's
thing.
a real thing. It's especially
Last 2 wins were at home.
especially because of the thing that you brought up earlier about the fact that they can't run the football in New Orleans.
Yeah, man.
That's one of those things that has to travel if you're going to have a chance in these road games.
So that means Shuck has to throw the ball
Are you-
a lot. Quick passing game. They're going to try to do some stuff. I mean,
You two are dangerously close to talking me into picking the
oh
Titans
my.
today.
Yeah. We got the Chiefs. Well, at least I did. I'm going to speak for myself last week. Buck, where's you?
No, I would pick against them. I would pick against them again. I would pick against them again. I would do it again.
We own the Chiefs.
You actually kind of do in
I
Nashville,
know, man. In
It's kind
Nashville,
of crazy. That's one of those
like
things.
3-1 or something like that.
It's certainly a winning record. I don't remember if it's 3-1. It might be. It might be. But I am
5 out of the last 7.
I'm curious to see whether the Titans can string together a performance like that on offense again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay for the rest of the season for me to approach this as, all right, do it again. Just do it again.
I think that's okay.
You know, I needed to see Cam play well in a win for the first time all season. We got that in Week 16. Okay, do it again.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. This is a good defense, to your point, or it's playing good football.
Right.
Can you exploit some of the things that you might have seen on tape? Can you give yourself an edge? Can the coaching staff help you a little bit? Can you just perform? Can you consistently perform in a way that makes it, that doesn't give people like me the excuse to say, yeah, but how much progress did they actually make?
This is Week 17?
Yes.
Week 17?
No, it's Week 7. You guys are confused.
Oh, I like it.
That is what I'm talking about.
That's fair.
You just skirted right around what we just talked about earlier. Oh, the new coaching staff. The transformation is a lot more difficult than people want to give credit. Who's communicating with who? Now reteaching some things that you want to do differently than what the other coach said. We're going to emphasize these offensive things and defensive things more so than we did in the past. And then obviously you just think it's just going to light bulb and it's going to work? No way. That's not how sports works.
Yeah.
So they've done a phenomenal job. All people involved. Coaches, players, everything.
I will say, going up against the Brady Cook-led New York Jets is much different than a Cam Ward Tennessee
No
Titans.
doubt. I said, oh, my.
And they won that game 29-6. They did what they were supposed to do, right? They went out there and they beat the brakes off of Brady Cook.
Yeah, that's what they
home.
said. Whip, whip.
At home.
Oh,
now
yeah,
we're
at home.
on the road.
Blaine
Titans
said,
didn't
"Dome
have to
team."
travel. Titans didn't have to travel. A little bit of wind. The wind's supposed to be whipping today
Is
at some
it?
point. Yeah.
I
It hasn't
see it
yet,
blowing
but
back
it's
there.
supposed to be at some
I
point.
see it
We got a nice little. We're protected in our little corner.
Kirby
over
did a
here.
good job this
Yeah.
time.
Kirby's got us held down.
And when it was raining, he did not good.
So just saying.
It's just a little flooding up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost slipped in. You broke my.
I'd have caught you, Blaine. Don't worry.
Zach said he's gonna let me fall.
Let me ask you guys this. I know this is kind of a little bit off topic, but, I mean, today, Chig, he's obviously leading receiver for this team. What do you guys think about the keeping Chig around for next year? Is there a path for this team to be able to keep Chig, but still also improve at the tight end position? Because right now, I think David Martin Robinson has done a fine job, but I think we know that it's Gunnar Helm and Chig Okonkwo. Can that duo get you by?
Yeah, I mean, does Chig want to be here?
Yeah, he may not want to be.
And honestly, to his credit, I brought up Jeff in the way that he's kind of doubled down. There's been no indication that Chig's not happy. I mean, obviously that he would like to, play better and as a team that he would like to win, as any of them would. But like Chig's been a good soldier about all this. There's no indication that he's not in a situation where he wouldn't, be interested in coming back. But again, they've got money. So the answer to your question is yes, there's a path. They've got money. They've got a player who seems to enjoy it here. Does Chig want additional opportunities elsewhere? Does Chig want to be the guy definitively for an offense? Is there a market for Chig Okonkwo like that? Because there's going to be some interesting tight end names.
And who's your offensive coordinator?
Yeah,
What's your offensive scheme?
There are so many. The answer to your question is yes, but there's so many different paths that this could go down to that we'll spend the next couple of months figuring out.
Yeah, it's a tough call with not, knowing who's going to be the coach.
Yeah.
And what kind of scheme on offense they're going to use. He's a talented player. If I was making a guess, as much as I like Chig a lot, I think they probably can get by at least next season with him being the guy, and then, the other tight end on the roster, and then maybe picking up a free agent veteran type player. If he's going to cost too much.
Yeah.
Because some people are going to look at him and go, hey, man, we want a receiving tight end. This is the ticket right here. He's going to get, in the $7 million maybe range, average starting good player. Maybe look at him that way. Or is he in the $5 million per year? I don't know. Or does he just do a one-year deal, say, let's prove it again somewhere, whether it's here or somewhere else? It'll be really interesting. But I love his talent, man. Just think now, he was only a fifth-round pick. Yeah. Every time he gets in the open field, he amazes me with it. His speed.
I think he was a third.
No,
he was a fifth.
He's a fifth, I believe. Fourth or fifth. He was day 3.
He was fourth. CJ says fourth.
Okay.
He wasn't third. He wasn't top. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a day 3 guy. Because they drafted Kyle Phillips right after him, right?
That's right. Kyle Phillips was the fifth.
Look that
round
up
pick.
there for us, CJ. Let's make sure.
Just real quick, besides Cam Ward, and maybe let's eliminate Big Jeff too. Who's the Titans player you're most interested to see kind of put together some consistent performances over these last 2 games? For me, it would be Elikiah Manor. I want to see a little bit more from Elikiah Manor over these last 2 weeks. I want to see him, not drop the ball, make some contested catches.
Chig went 5th round, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
Did he really?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Chig 4th, Phillips 5th.
Okay, so Chig in the 4th.
But
I said 3rd. I was wrong.
Yeah, with Elikiah Manor, that, I want to see him build some consistency to see if he can be a wide receiver 3 with the possibility of being a wide receiver 2. Like, I feel like the wide receiver 2 is a little far away, but I want to see some growth from him over these next few weeks because I know he missed some games in the middle, and before he was missed the games, he was kind of trending in the wrong direction anyway. So I want to see more from Elikai and Manor the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's a good question. Dan Moore coming back from injury, I think is somebody that I'd like to see. I'd like to see I know it's cheating to say the offensive line as opposed to one individual player, but I just think it's the most important thing that they've got going for them right now. And I think if there's any consideration to be given to, all right, do you really have to cut Lloyd Cushenberry next year, or is there something salvageable there so you create one less need? You may decide that the money's not worth it and that you want to move on. But I'm very pleased with the progress of the offensive line, albeit later in the season. It is something they have to get right around the young quarterback.
Yeah.
Man, it's so hard to. Man, I don't want to be so bland, but for me, with the young nucleus they have, I just want to continue to just see consistency. Like you saw glimpses of Alec, to your point.
Yeah.
Like last game, they're like, oh man, I think he can be. At that 2 or for sure 3, and then, I don't want to see a dip. I want to see consistency throughout. So that's what I want to see. I want to see Cam Ward keep going up the ticker board a little bit and get him a 300-yard game with a win, and hopefully he can get it done today.
All right, that will do it for us. This has been the Lee Company Titans countdown to kickoff. You'll have Titans Radio up next. Titans Radio coverage is produced by Joseph Bonanno, studio producer Justin Hawkins, studio host Lucas.